White House is projecting a record $1.5 trillion budget deficit this year, on top of America's growing $13 trillion debt. But our next guest has a sweeping new proposal to cut federal spending. Senator John Thune proposed a bill this week which would create a joint House-Senate panel on cutting government spending, calls for a line-item veto, and requires a 10% cut in the deficit every year until the budget is balanced. Add to this the possibility for an extension of all the Bush tax cuts, and the GOP is offering us a roadmap for recovery. But do they have the votes? And might potential gridlock actually prove very bad for investors and the economy? Well, here now is South Dakota Republican Senator John Thune, who I might add is running unopposed for re-election in November. Mr. Thune, welcome back, sir.
Nice to be with you, Larry.
All right, you've got a very ambitious proposal here. First of all, you're setting up this legislative council, this deficit reduction council, 10% a year. Can you tell us about that?
Right. What it is, Larry, is a permanent standing committee of the Congress composed of both Republicans and Democrats, members of the House and the Senate, that would be tasked specifically with reducing spending and in reducing the deficit. And, you know, we've got 26 committees or subcommittees in Congress that are focused on spending tax dollars. We don't have any of them that are focused on cutting spending and saving the taxpayer dollars. So this would be they would have to put together a plan every budget cycle. It would allow for expedited consideration on the floor and get us down a path to where we're putting some downward pressure on spending here in Washington. There isn't anything right now. There's this inertia, this forward momentum to spend and spend and spend, and we keep piling up more and more debt. And it would also call for a biennial budget so that in an odd-numbered year you would do the budget, you would do the appropriation bills, and an even-numbered year when people are running for re-election, you would actually focus on oversight and saving tax dollars, as opposed to what we do around here, which is in even-numbered years when people are running for re-election, we look at how much we can spend to try and attract constituencies to vote for us. That's the wrong way to approach this. And so these are a number of reforms. Some of them aren't new, but we put them together because we think it's high time that Congress got serious and that we gave some evidence to the American people that we get it, that we understand we've got to do something about the spending and the debt.
Well, Senator, I hear you on that, but I don't see any mention of entitlements. And you may be aware the Congressional Budget Office has put out a very tough report basically saying by 2030 or thereabouts, including the explosion of expected entitlement spending, our debt, our publicly held debt as a share of GDP will rise to around 150% and then some. What about the entitlement piece?
It's got to be taken on, Larry, and what this bill does not do that specifically. It creates a mechanism whereby you can start getting at the entitlement programs, but it's going to take some bold leadership from the president and some bipartisanship here in the Congress to take on Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But we all know that's where the money is. You've talked about it a lot. We're aware of what the problem is, but that's a debate that I guess we will have another day, and we start looking at what we're going to do in terms of policy. I think there are some things you can do pretty quickly to fix Social Security. Medicare and Medicaid are going to be tougher, but we don't have anything here in terms of the process that allows us to get this squeeze on spending. And so we need to reform our budget process, and this is what my legislation would do. And then obviously we've got to focus on the issue of entitlements.
Let me turn in remaining moments, sir, to the tax issue. Wall Street is getting very nervous. We've got some big banks out today saying if the Bush tax cuts are not extended, it's going to sink the recovery and it's going to take off 8 or 10% from the stock market. Is there going to be political stalemate? Everybody tells me there won't be a vote before the election. And then after the election, you've got the Deficit Commission and who knows what. What is the state of play on the expiring Bush tax cuts?
Well, as you know, investors need certainty, and right now there's just this cloud of uncertainty, and you're going into this next year when taxes are going to go up on cap gains and dividends, and you're going to have these marginal income tax rate increases. It seems to me, at least, that we need to provide some certainty, and I hope that we can get a vote before the election on extending those tax cuts from 2001 and 2003. If we don't do that, I think it's going to really imperil our economy's ability to recover and our small businesses and investors' opportunities out there to create jobs, because right now they know they're looking at these steep tax increases next year, and that is going to have a very chilling effect on investment and job creation. So it needs to get done. I can't tell you today it's going to happen. I know the Republicans are prepared to enter into that debate. I hope it can happen in September, but it's going to require the Democrat leadership here in Washington to take the initiative and to put it on the agenda and to work with us to accomplish that.
What happens, just last question, what happens if there is no vote before the election? Because after the election, people are worried that they will expire because all all going to be overtaken by events. The Erskine-Bowles Deficit Commission, which will have a number of spending and tax revenue proposals, and then lickety-split, you wake up and all of a sudden it's $300 billion tax hike for 2011, including investment taxes.
It would be disastrous, and it's in everybody's best interest, including the Democrats politically, to solve this before the election. I don't think they want to go into the November elections with all this uncertainty about taxes and the notion that these taxes are all going to go up January 1 on their watch. So I hope that that will provide some sense of urgency and create some pressure around here to get this done before the election. But you are absolutely right. If we get to the election and we're in a lame duck session and January 1 rolls around and this issue hasn't been addressed, it is just going to be a disaster for the economy. And I think that a lot of the small businesses and big businesses around the country are all waiting to see what Congress is going to do next. And it's high time that we acted on this issue, and we need to do it before the election.
All right, Senator John Thune, we welcome you back. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Always nice to be with you, Larry. Thanks.